The neighborhood awoke to a sound that split the morning air like a gunshot. Bang! A silver SUV lurched forward, one tire shredded, hissing air as neighbors jerked their blinds open. Coffee mugs froze midair, garage doors rattled up, and all eyes locked on the crippled vehicle stranded on a freshly planted lawn. Behind the wheel sat Colleen Stratton, the notorious HOA president. Across the street, Bryson Hale stood calmly on his porch, arms folded. He didn't yell. He didn't run. He just watched. Everyone knew something explosive had happened. But how did it come to this? To understand, we need to rewind. Bryson Hale was proud. At 44, he'd finally bought his first real home outside Charlotte, with a yard big enough for his 2 kids to play in. An IT consultant working from home, he spent his weekends in the Carolina heat laying fresh sod, shaping flower beds, and watering every inch of grass like it was a newborn. For Bryson, this wasn't just a lawn. It was the childhood he never had. Growing up in cramped apartments, mowing his own grass had been a dream. Now, standing barefoot on it, he whispered to his wife Leah, "This is it. This is ours." Neighbors waved. Kids rode bikes through cul-de-sacs. Leah joined a book club. Bryson believed this neighborhood would respect hard work. But lurking across the street was someone who didn't see his effort, or his boundaries, the same way. Her name was Colleen Stratton. And she wasn't just a neighbor. She was the HOA president, a woman who carried a clipboard like a crown, and a silver SUV like a weapon. Bryson didn't know it yet, but the thing he loved most, his grass, was about to become her shortcut. And that shortcut would start a war. Colleen introduced herself the first week, clipboard in hand, sunglasses perched high. "Welcome to Westbrook Estates," she said with a tight smile. "I'm Colleen Stratton, president of the HOA." She eyed Leah's flower bed. "Just keep it within approved colors. No wild oranges or purples. We like uniformity here." At first, Bryson brushed it off. Every neighborhood had a busybody. But Colleen wasn't just particular. She was power-hungry. If someone's trash bins stayed out too long, an email appeared. If a mailbox leaned slightly, she wrote a warning. Then one morning, Bryson's coffee nearly spilled as he watched her SUV swing wide across the cul-de-sac, and right over the corner of his new lawn. Tire tracks carved into the soft earth he'd worked all summer to grow. He approached her politely that evening. "Hey, I think you may have driven across my yard this morning." Colleen smirked. "Oh, that? I do that sometimes. It's quicker than swinging around. Don't worry, it's not hurting anything." Bryson blinked. "I'm trying to get the sod to take. It's fragile." She tilted her head. "You don't understand. I've lived here since this place was dirt. We all cut across when we need to." And just like that, the battle lines were drawn. The next morning, Bryson waited by the window. Sure enough, her silver SUV rolled casually over the same spot, chewing up the grass. Then the next day. And the next. This wasn't an accident. It was a statement. She even waved one morning, grinning as her tires shredded the soil. Bryson tried everything. He reseeded the patches. He wrote her a polite note, "Please stop driving through my yard. This is my home." She tossed it in the trash. Neighbors noticed but kept quiet. Everyone feared Colleen's wrath. She had a reputation for making life difficult for anyone who crossed her. Each rut in the ground felt like a rut in Bryson's stomach. He wasn't just repairing grass anymore. He was patching his pride, only to have it ripped up daily. At dinner, his wife asked, "So what did she say?" He sighed. "She told me this is her neighborhood, not mine." The words echoed in his head. Every morning became a reminder. She didn't just disrespect his yard, she disrespected him. Bryson's patience was wearing thin. And Karen's next act would push him from frustration into outright rage. One October morning, Bryson stepped outside and froze. His brand new mailbox, freshly painted the week before, was splattered with mud, spray from her SUV tires. He stormed across the street and pounded on her door. Colleen opened it slowly, smirking. "Well, hello, Bryson. What's the emergency?" "My yard. My mailbox. You keep doing this, and I'm done being polite. She leaned against the frame. Oh, please. It's just dirt. You're acting like I drove through your living room. It's my property, Bryson snapped, his voice rising. You don't get to destroy it because it's convenient. Her eyes narrowed. Do you know who you're talking to? I've been HOA president for 15 years. If you want to pick a fight with me, you'll regret it. Neighbors peered from windows as tension crackled in the air. Finally, she slammed the door with a sharp click. Back inside, Leah whispered, She threatened you, didn't she? Bryson rubbed his temples. Yeah. She said I'd regret it. For days, he couldn't focus. Every roar of her engine twisted his gut. Every rut mocked his helplessness. And that's when Bryson decided. Words weren't enough anymore. The decision came late one night. Bryson sat in his garage, staring at his toolbox, the weight of Colleen's smirk replaying in his head. Then his eyes landed on a strip of steel spikes from an old DIY project. Long, sharp, heavy, heart-pounding, he grabbed gloves, a shovel, and carried them into the night. The neighborhood was dark, blinds drawn. He crouched at the corner of his lawn, her favorite shortcut. With slow, steady hands, he dug shallow trenches and laid the spikes in a perfect line, just beneath the surface. High enough to catch a tire, low enough to stay invisible. As he packed the soil back in, he whispered to himself, Let's see you laugh tomorrow. When he returned inside, dirt still on his gloves, Leah studied him silently. You did something, didn't you? Bryson met her eyes. She'll understand tomorrow. Leah pressed her lips together. Part of her was terrified. Part of her was relieved. Bryson barely slept that night. But for the first time in weeks, he didn't feel powerless. And what happened the next morning would rock the entire neighborhood. At exactly 7:40 a.m., the silver SUV rolled forward. Bryson pulled the curtain just enough to see. Her tires climbed the curb, cut across the lawn, and then it happened. Bang! A deafening crack echoed through the neighborhood. Air hissed violently as her SUV tilted sideways, crippled in the middle of Bryson's yard. Colleen stumbled out, eyes wide. What the hell? She screamed, circling her shredded tire. Neighbors poured out in bathrobes, whispering. Across the street, Bryson stepped onto his porch, arms folded. Calm. Silent. Her voice cracked as she pointed. You planted something. Spikes, nails. I know you did this. Bryson's reply was steady. I asked you to stop. Over and over. You didn't listen. Actions have consequences. Gasps rippled through the crowd. The retired couple next door whispered, about time. Within minutes, a police cruiser pulled up. Colleen rushed to the officer. Arrest him. He sabotaged my car. The officer listened, then turned to Bryson. Sir, your side. Bryson handed him his phone, photos and videos of Colleen driving across his lawn daily. The officer nodded, unimpressed. Looks like you were trespassing. Do it again, and you could face charges yourself. For the first time, Colleen was speechless. And neighbors laughed, not at Bryson, but at her. The story spread like wildfire. At the next HOA meeting, the clubhouse was packed. Colleen tried to spin the story. One resident has endangered our community with dangerous traps. Bryson stood. Let's be clear. The only danger here is someone who thinks rules don't apply to her. He played the video, her SUV plowing over his lawn again and again. Gasps filled the room. Then Mr. Wilkins rose. I move to remove Ms. Stratton as HOA president. The vote wasn't close. 18-5. Colleen was out. She stormed out, face pale, slamming the door. Neighbors exhaled, some clapping, others patting Bryson's shoulder. For the first time, people felt free from her grip. At home, Leah whispered, it's over. But Bryson knew the scars ran deeper. His kids had asked, why does that lady hate us? His wife had begged him not to lose himself. And Bryson had realized something. The battle wasn't about grass. It was about dignity. Standing in his yard, he told his son, "Sometimes, standing up for yourself doesn't mean fighting back the same way. It just means refusing to stay silent. Because boundaries matter. Respect matters. And without them, even the greenest lawn turns to mud."